maybe move in a little bit? We don't have a sound system for Croke Park or anything. Okay, and if any of our speakers, if you can just come up here, please. Oh, nice one.
It is, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so while we're waiting to start, going to have a few chants. Some of you, if you were there on Saturday at the huge protest that took place in Dublin, Limerick and Cork, will know some of these. So, justice for Natasha. Justice for
Natasha.
Justice for
Natasha.
Justice for
Natasha.
Okay, we said we'd start you on a very easy one. Did well, so we'll move on to the second. Okay, so the next one is, we don't care about his career, we refuse to live in fear. We don't care about his career, we refuse to live in fear. We don't care about his career,
We don't care to live in fear.
we don't care about his career.
We refuse to live in fear.
We don't care about his career.
We refuse to live in fear.
The next one is, we won't move, we won't budge, we don't want your sexist judge. We don't move, we won't move, we won't budge.
We don't want your sexist judge.
We won't move, we won't budge.
We don't want your sexist judge.
We won't move, we won't budge.
We don't want your sexist judge.
We won't move, we won't budge.
We don't want your sexist judge.
No more fear, no more shaming. We reject your victim blaming. No more fear, no more shaming.
We reject your victim blaming.
No more fear, no more shaming.
We reject your victim blaming.
No more fear, no more shaming.
We reject your victim blaming.
Sexist judges, out, out, out. Sexist judges,
Out, out, out.
sexist judges,
Out, out, out.
sexist soldiers,
Out, out, out.
violent soldiers,
Out, out, out.
Cathal Croghy,
Out, out, out.
Cathal Croghy in the army, out,
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 out.
out.
Judge O'Donnell, we know your sort. Sexist judges out of our courts. Judge O'Donnell, we know your sort.
Sexist judges out of our courts.
Judge O'Donnell, we know your sort.
Sexist judges out of our courts.
Okay, brilliant. That was sort of a warm-up because I'm just waiting for Natasha. Natasha!
Oh, there she is.
Massive credit to the young woman here. So many reasons. First of all, she's exemplary in what she did that night in trying to step in and save. Nearby. The second thing then, to be rewarded for being the Good Samaritan, she was then brutally assaulted, and she has already described that. But then to pursue and find out who the person was, and to make sure he was fully prosecuted, brought to court. We all know how long that takes, to go through that whole process. And then to go to court and to hear at the end of it, well, you're lucky we pleaded guilty. That seems to be the standard for women who experience brutal violence in this country and in this society. And we say no more, not one more woman should have to experience what Natasha experienced. Not one more. Not one
more.
And then that was bad enough, but she then had to decide, was she going to stay silent, be completely knocked by what that judge did? And already Natasha's had a huge impact, because I know you've been meeting political leaders today, and I'm sure we'll hear all about that. But also, what she's brought to light about the safe haven that the Defence Forces seems to be for being found guilty of the most brutal violence. That's an absolute shame and indictment, and it seems to be news to Micheál Martin, who's actually the Minister for Defence. It seems to be news to the newly promoted Jack Chambers, who was the Minister of State for Defence before him. Apparently they were completely, hadn't got a clue that these loopholes were being used. And we say, enough. We need action on the epidemic of gender-based violence in this country. Natasha, not only has there been this buzzword that the government use every time something like this happens, of zero tolerance. They don't even have zero tolerance in the Oireachtas for violence against women. There are people in there who've been violent to women. So please, enough of your guff. If you think it's okay for someone to stand for election who's been guilty of violence against women, you really don't have a leg to stand on, I'm afraid. And now we need, the state has to take action against the Army, the Navy, and we need to know how many other cases there are like this. Have there been other judges who let these people off? But the woman at the moment who we're going to hear from first is the absolutely exemplary Natasha.
I'm just going to take it into my hand. I'm a little bit taller than you, Ruth. I just cannot express how grateful I am that everyone is going out to support this. But I mean, I cannot continue. I'm going to continue to emphasise that not one of you here today would be standing behind me had this happened in the first place. Had the people in there been doing their jobs in the first place, joy, I'm filled with gratitude that we're all rallying together. It's 2024. Why are we still talking about this? It's been happening for decades. And I mean, I'm not the first by a long while to speak up, and I know I'm not going to be the last, but if I can achieve anything with what I'm doing right now, it's to make it easier for the next person that something heinous and violent like this happens to, because we're a long way away, but we are I feel like we are, after today, I'm actually a little bit hopeful for the first time in over 2 years, so it's incredible to, it's just really, it's truly, I feel like I've found a purpose. I found a purpose that, I speak for so many, and I think today I'm going to talk about the standing ovation I received in the Dáil. I was honoured, it was incredible. However, your applauses are amazing, but let's use those applauses and actually do something and do your job and make things happen. I think for me, the reason why I subjected myself through reliving that night 2 years ago, and pushed myself to come forward and speak in the court last week, knowing how hard it would be, but not having any idea how hard it would be. It's because of the headline after headline after headline of violence upon violence and suspended sentence and just constant, brutal, heinous crimes, and just knowing these people are walking amongst us without any repercussions, and it's just truly soul destroying, and I'm just sick of it. And I just felt if this man has done this to me, I have to speak up and pray that there is some justice so that I can protect others from this man, and that judge did not care. Sentence, as all of you know, is because he was protecting his career, and that career is supposed to protect us.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I mean, I think this is a hopeful day for me. There have been motions, I mean, for the first time in a long, long time, the Irish Defence Forces are being held accountable and being forced to produce and look into the people that have criminal records in this force. So I think this is a massive, massive thing, and this is so important, you know. And I really do feel like I've even made a little inch of a difference. But when Minister for Justice McEntee talks about how she's, you know, urging victims to come forward, and it's so great. Like, it's so amazing that it's so amazing that we've had so many reports, because it means so many women are coming forward. I'm like, what rock are you living under? Are the victim of any form of crime, man or woman, I don't urge you to come forward. It's not safe in that justice system. I let you know when it's safe, but it ain't safe now. And my message is do nothing to yourself. We have to reject that system until that system does us the justice we deserve, and until we can be positive that we are going to be protected in that system. I mean, yeah, there is absolutely so much wrong, and the list goes on, and you know, I have a lot of work to do. I mean, I've only just begun, but I would just really like to say that since leaving that Limerick courthouse last Wednesday, just walking out with just utter despair, it was, I don't even have words. I know I spoke so eloquently at the time, but I don't even have words now, trying to bring myself back to it, and it wasn't even a week ago. But I really, really cannot thank each and every one of you enough for the purpose that you've given me, and giving me this platform to be able to speak out for all of us, and all our anger and all our pain and all our frustrations, that I'm just able to channel this now and direct it at the people accountable, the people who are not doing their job. I never asked for any of this. I just expected to be protected by the systems built to protect us, and I'm being forced to do something that I shouldn't have to do. I should be able to just get on with my life, but I cannot move on with my life knowing that anyone could be subjected to what I was subjected to last week, and I will continue. It's just heartbreaking, all the headlines after headlines, and you know, the message needs to change. The message that we're sending to our society needs to change now. It's not good enough. We you know, it's just, I was looking out for another member of our society that I did not know, but I did not want to see someone else be put in harm's way. I was put in harm's way. I deserve to be protected for that. And instead I'm the one penalised, I'm the one blamed, I'm the one that's scrutinised, and it's just disgraceful. It's disgraceful, and you know, I'm just so fueled with just anger and just pain, but also I have a drive now. I really do feel like, you know, I can actually make a tiny little bit of a difference, even if it's not much. I do really, I mean, all the belief that you put in me has, I suppose, I had a really, really difficult time. I went through a dark, dark period of my life in the last 2 years. I'm not the only victim of abuse. I'm not the only victim of violence. I know a lot of people, and most people here could probably relate in some shape or form. But yeah, I really didn't know how to go on with my life. I didn't know if I wanted to. And you know, after Wednesday, I didn't think I wanted to at all. But now I know I have to continue. I know it's my duty to continue to speak up and continue to voice. And none of this higgledy-piggledy nonsense, because like, what does it mean? It doesn't mean anything, all this spew talk. It's very, very plain and simple. Their issues are very, very transparent. They're not hidden away, they're just blind and they just don't look at them. And you know, I sat up in that, I sat up in the public gallery and I looked down. I was sitting in the middle with my arms folded, looking down at the Taoiseach, at the Taoiseach and the Minister for Justice. And what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I'm right here. And you know, I'm going to keep doing that. And they're going to feel the pressure. Over and over again to this society, to our society, is not okay, and we don't deserve to live in an anarchy. We deserve to live in a civil society. You know, I'm a woman of many words, and I'm kind of lost for words now today. Especially, it's just been a crazy day. But I just have a message of hope today, which I didn't feel I had for a long, long time. So I do feel, I don't think it's a new chapter, but I think we're turning a page. All the that are not here today because they didn't make it here today, and I think it is my duty to speak for them too and give them a voice because they don't have one. And I was being within an inch of my life, but I have lived to tell the tale, and I'm going to continue to tell it and speak for all those who can't.